Hey everybody, it's Master Galengeist here, bringing you my review of the latest episode of The Strain, Firstborn. So, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It was tighter, and everything kind of moved forward with the story and had momentum. Granted, the CGI was kind of a little bit weird, especially in trying to show the devastation of New York and the obviously fake mountains in a flashback scene, but other than that, I really liked this tightening of the story. So, we, at first in the episode, get kind of a flashback to when Zach was born and kind of showing how it was kind of weird and everything, but it kind of set the tone for births, like children, mothers, and fathers, because that was a very big theme in this episode, and it kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, okay, the last kind of episode was kind of weird with the writers, but this was really tight and really had the theme of like, what fathers and mothers and children mean and to each other and like the roles that can be used for that, because Ephraim is using that because he needs to save his son. That's an important thing. He loves his son. He recognizes that his wife is beyond help at this point, but he wants to save his son. And we get a big thing in this episode, seeing more of Quinlan's backstory and his connection to the Master. And all that kind of stuff really was well done in this episode. So, we get to Trakian and Fett. They figure out that the Lumen's missing, and Fett's like, well, I better trace her. It's like, alright, there we go. Someone's not acting stupid. And it really worked really well, because then they started going after Ephraim and Quinlan. And as that's going on, we get all this backstory for Quinlan. And it goes back to Roman times. We find out that he was in a traveling circus pretty much for freaks, and was like, oh look, at the leech, he eats things like this. And it's like, no, this lady comes, buys him for his freedom, and tells the dude that that's half a Strix, which was their word for Strigoi. Well, it makes sense, because if you're going from Latin to all that, it'll eventually the Romance languages. And it was kind of cool to start seeing this. She recognized she's essentially a hunter as well, a hunter of the Strigoi and all that. It's kind of alluded to, never done specifically, because she's got a lot of knowledge. She knows that the Master is one of the 7 original Strigoi, and is explaining this to him, explaining that he is the offspring of the Master and all that, and showing it's really effective, showing that he had fighting the thirst to drink humans and all that, and how he was able to control that. And it's interesting because you're like, well, it's really kind of hard to be half human and half Strigoi. And it was really cool to see Ephraim even like talking about that. It's like, how did that work out? Because it usually takes over the whole thing. And it was really kind of cool seeing Ephraim and Quinlan bonding over this, because they both want the Master for revenge. Because one's lost his wife and potentially could lose his son, and Quinlan, he doesn't want to be controlled by the Master, and doesn't like where he's at because of what the Master's done. He explains that when his mother was pregnant with him, the Master had pretty much infected her, and due to myths and whatnot that they were explaining, that a babe is affected by it, but not really. He explained it that he had the Master's mark on him, but does not carry his plague. So to me, that says that Quinlan could eat someone, but they wouldn't turn into a Strigoi. And that when he's going to kill the Master, it's essentially a suicide mission, because once the Master's dead, he will die. It's like, wow, this dude's he's going to stop this guy, and to do it, he's willing to lay down his life. He's been training for this for centuries, because we see he was training with the old hunter lady and trying to get more acclimated, kind of better from his imprisonment, and taken out Strigoi like a badass. So they went off and got hidden into the mountains, but the Master still found them, and he frickin' took down a wall. It's like, alright then, I'm gonna have you eat her, essentially, and she's dying, and she's like, listen, I think of you as a son. And he calls her mother. It's like, okay, he's got feelings. Granted, he doesn't show that most of the time, but he does. So she sacrificed herself to save him, and he was able to get away from the Master when he came. Actually, not, he did eat her. It's like, alright. But it's like, nope. she has trained his human side, and he got out of there and went on for training. It's like, I really like Quinlan's character, because they've done a lot of kind of cool stuff with him. They've built him up. Hopefully we see some more stuff with him going forward. So, him and Ephraim essentially call the Master, which is they find a Strigoi and pretty much go, hey, I got this. Here are my conditions. Do that. Otherwise, you ain't never seen this again. Alright, message received. Blink. And they're like, because once that was going on, I'm like, how are they going to find Kelly and the Master? Because they essentially didn't really leave a way to call them to be like, hey, we've got the Lumen. Doo-doo-doo. It's like, okay. And so they go off for their confrontation, and we also get another story of Gus and Angel, and Gus has been feeding his Strigoi-turned mother his blood, and he's pretty much weak. Angel comes over and like, you shouldn't be doing this. And then, of course, a sweep of the building's going on, and they have to try and get her out, and of course, they don't make it out. Now, this is effective in showing, again, the other mother-son kind of thing, and he's felt that he's wronged his mother, and it breaks him that she has been turned into a Strigoi, and he's trying to make amends for all the stuff that he's done and not being able to protect her. But in the end, I don't see how it advanced it other than to put Gus and Angel into the position where they've been conscripted into the police to do sweeps and everything. And it's like, okay, it'll be interesting to kind of see where this goes, but it was kind of weird to get there. I do like their characters. They're very well done and well written, and I'm interested to see what they're doing forward. But then again, the writers have to watch out because they don't have, again, as much time as they usually do in seasons. So they kind of have to make up what they need to in a shorter period of time. So we get the final confrontation. Ephraim's there waiting. Kelly's coming up. He's like, hey, send him forward. And of course, they didn't bring Zach. He's too important. He's going to be that ace in the hole whenever he needs it. So it's actually one of the little creepy, weird children thing that are trying to get him, and he's able to pretty much beat it to death with the Aceto Lumen because it's bound in silver. That was pretty awesome. And then Kelly, of course, tried to get him, and he whacked her a little bit as she's going off, and he's able to kill the little kind of skitter Strigoi with his machete, and that's when Fett and Strachian also show up, as well as Quinlan's starting his assault against the Master with his arsenal and all that. But right as that's going on, because Kelly has disappeared at this point and the Aceto Lumen is still there, the Navy SEALs that the Master had taken out, who have been turned into Strigoi, are coming in and pretty much shooting Quinlan almost to death. But that's when Fett and Strachian used their silver bomb, which they had pretty much started to put up Quinlan's, shove it up his ass to kill him for his betrayal. Let the Navy SEAL Strigoi be destroyed, as well as throwing another one at the Master, who's pretty much in a very bad position. He's like, oh my god, I don't know what's going on, and then Quinlan chops off his head. Now, of course, they're not going to take out the Master this early in the game. You still got the season finale and everything. You take him out, the rest of the Strigoi are going to die. So, of course, we see this ominous one of the parasites crawl into the sewer, so we know that the Master's going to come back at some point, but it's kind of a victory for our heroes at this moment, because, well, they're probably going to read the Aceto Lumen. You must kill the giant controlling worm in order to ensure complete and utter destruction of said ancient one. And they're like, oh, that big little thinger that just crawled in the sewer. Okay, so we've at least killed his body, so we've got to be doing something to try and get another body. And I think that's kind of where it's going to go. But it was really kind of cool to see it all kind of tied up, the themes that were going on through the episode, and how it's kind of come together at this culmination, hopefully getting the heroes back onto the same page. So we don't know what's going to be happening with Quinlan, because he's severely wounded. The Master is in pretty much a death-like state at this moment, because he needs a host. We'll have to see how fast it'll take him to get a host, and that's what we're going to be seeing in the next couple episodes. Hopefully we get to a point where he gets somewhere that our heroes can strike him down permanently. Because if this keeps happening, it's going to be pretty frustrating for Satrakian, Bet, and F to be like, listen, we've killed like 30 of his bodies. He keeps getting away. How do we stop this thing? But I'm excited to kind of see where they're going to be going and how people are going to be evolving in their arcs. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.